Hello and welcome to episode 92 of Masters of the Forge. My name, of course, is Adam, and I am here with Jason.
Hey, y'all.
And John.
Hello.
Alrighty, so last week or possibly tomorrow, I don't know, you should have already enjoyed Masters of the Forge Altar of War, episode 3. Depending on when it shows up in the Freebooters Network.
The warp is a fickle place.
It is fickle.
As we're going to learn about more today.
That's true. So a lot of exciting, interesting things have happened. We don't really do news here on Masters of the Forge because we record at least a week in advance. Yeah. And doing news a week in advance is, especially with the current release schedule, is kind of pointless. But
yeah, essentially pissing in the wind.
It's fake news.
Stuff is going down.
Yeah.
Stuff is going down, and we'll talk a little bit about that after our hobby progress. But I'm going to start us off with my kind of what I've been up to. I've been up to a lot, you guys. Prepping for Astronomicon.
Woohoo!
I'm, I'm a little stressed out about it, but I think it'll be a really fun time. So I'm looking forward to it. Looking forward to hanging out with Mike and
yeah, that'll be fun.
And all that. Going to Canada. I've never been to Canada before, so we'll see if there's rarefied air across the border. We'll see.
And if they let you back across.
Yeah, they may not let me across because of my activities on Facebook. But first of all, I'd like to make a note. I think Mike, it was Mike from our local group who explained that the steel serpent from Wrath of Magnus is, from Fall of Cadia, the sidebars.
Yeah.
It's Fulgrim.
Yeah.
I didn't look it up, but I assume if you were to go to Fulgrim's wiki page, you will see him referred to as the Steel Serpent or something to that effect. So, thank you, Mike. So we started the Shadow War Kihar Hive campaign. Things are going pretty well. People are very much enjoying the Shadow War rules set.
It was a lot of fun.
Yeah, it's a great deal of fun. We have started off the campaign with these small games, and it's really nice. We're going to use the Prometheum caches in our upcoming games of 40K for the campaign.
Oh, that's going to be cool.
So people, I'm going to have the generals of each faction hand those out to players to use as rerolls and other stuff during their games. So that should be super fun.
Oh, yeah. That sounds like a good idea.
With upcoming 8th edition, I've discussed it with our group, and I think we're going to, instead of going to 15 Prometheum, we're just going to keep on going until 8th edition shows up with Shadow War.
Yeah.
And basically, we're just going to keep on collecting Prometheum, and whoever has the best Prometheum to games played ratio will be the winner, I guess.
Yeah.
It's like a decent way to go. The campaign is sponsored by Table War.
Table War!
Table War!
There we go.
Thanks to Doug for supplying a beautiful Tundra and Ruin City fat mats for that campaign. We played our first game on the Ruin City fat mat, and that was a Shadow War game between John and Josh. So please be sure to, if you haven't checked out the Altar of War episode for that, please go to the Freebooters Network and subscribe to their podcast, because that's actually an amalgamation of many podcasts, and we're one of them. So be sure to check that out.
And you have a bunch of pictures you were taking of my incredible dice rolls on that said fat mat, or on that said mat, and you had them posted on the Facebook site, right?
I did do that. I finished painting the Skitari Rangers for that, and I've been having fun playing those. They're really cool. I had a Skitari actually beat a Space Marine in close combat the other day. That was pretty cool.
Wow.
Yeah, it was super sweet.
Yeah.
So my Astro prep, I painted up two of the two Rebel blockade runners I use for the spaceport board.
Yeah.
Because I'm bringing that with me for them to use. I need to add some stripes or something, or some numbering or lettering to those to make them even better. I fixed my trench. I fixed the group's trench board. It was badly chipped and messed up, so I added some paint to that, did some dry brushing and whatever.
Yeah, I never got a chance to play on that board, and I really.
John did a great job putting it together. It's still in pretty good condition.
Yeah, I actually worked on that a few years ago for the store, and I only ever played a game or two on it. I think it was pretty popular with the War Machine crew, but it's kind of like a Zone Mortalis light in a way. But it's a pretty fun board.
Yeah, and the Astronomicon has a mission called Up and Over, and they used to have it because they used to have this trench board they would use for it. There's a trench on one side of the board and a trench on the other side of the board, and the goal was to go through this dangerous terrain in the middle to infiltrate your opponent's board or your opponent's trench. So they're dredging up that old mission for use in the tournament. So I'll be loading that up into the back of the truck and bringing it with me.
That's pretty cool.
That'll be a lot of fun.
I also worked on my narrative list yesterday. It took me pretty much most of the day to do it. I took the pictures and tried to do a little story for each unit, and then made sure the correlating unit was referred in there. So my Blood Boys, I put Corn Demonkin or whatever, so that people have a reference sheet for my army, because it's entirely, or at least almost entirely, counts as models. So
yeah.
And this morning, when I took the dogs for their walk, I risked almost certain broken windows and stopped at Lowe's really quick and picked up some foam.
Jesus.
Oh my God, someone left the dog for 2 minutes. I'm going to smash your windows open. Yeah, I'm going to smash your face in with a freaking brick.
You could have taken them into Lowe's. Dude, Lowe's, they wouldn't have cared.
Yeah,
probably.
You had so many
quickly.
friends. You wouldn't have been able to get out of there within an hour.
So I need to start thinking about. I don't know what our next topics are gonna be.
Yeah.
Because things are in such flux. But
Right.
I'm gonna need to take a break from the podcast for a little while because of the gastric bypass surgery, and now that my doctor's you need to not have stress. Which kind of sucks because my boss suddenly decided I need to be a team leader for not more pay, because apparently my pay grade refers to managing other human beings, which I'm not looking forward to.
Has your boss been talking to mine?
I don't know.
This sounds really familiar, although...
Does it really?
Yeah, it does.
Yeah, I have to be in charge of people now, and other people's decisions reflect upon my whatever. I don't know. It's the worst. So there's that. So that's super stressful. But yeah, I need to take some time off, but I'm not sure when, because I don't want to be off the air for too long, because that's, especially with a new edition dropping soon.
Right.
So we'll see.
We may go through and have a few episodes where it's just us talking about hobby.
Yeah, maybe that's a good idea. Just get together for a short period, just to make sure people know that we're not just giving up on it.
And hey, maybe this. Listeners, you have questions. Trust me. Yeah. I've read our messages. You have questions. Send us questions, please.
Yeah.
We can blow an entire episode with just BSing about, 2 questions? Maybe 3?
I mean, we'll definitely want to have an episode where we just sit down and, have a long conversation about the changes in 8th edition and stuff. Because I think it's going to drop before I come back. So.
And we were talking too a little bit about how to run like a 8th edition kind of group party for our local gaming group, and maybe that might be something the listeners might want to think about running for their local store too when the new edition drops.
Back when 7th edition dropped before I moved to upstate New York, and I was still in Denton, and our local GW manager just said, "How about this? You guys show up at midnight. I'll give you your books." Mm-hmm. And so gave us the books, and we all went to a local burger chain that's 24 hours and sat there and read our books. And came in the next
that's pretty much what happened when 7th edition came out for us. We showed up, but he waited until midnight. Yeah. He sold us the books, and we hung out there for a little bit. I don't think we went out to eat, but they always have like magic on Friday nights. Yeah. So, and that goes until God knows when. Oh, yeah. So we all got our books and we hung out and read them we did go to Denny's. I remember that. It was John. It was you, Mike, me, and was it Brandon?
I think so. Yeah.
And we were just sitting there reading all the rules.
Yeah.
While they kept on bringing me coffee.
I was almost thinking maybe we should give like the recovery room or something a shout, and then just like book a small room in there and just chill and read the books while eating wings and other various terrible foods.
Well, I'm good with that, but I'm in South Texas, so I won't be able to hang out with y'all.
Well, there's airplanes. We were talking about how much it sucks to fly, but you get on one of those, and then just 3 hours.
You need to come up with like some kind of like partnership with University of Albany or something, or St. Louis, so that like your bosses send you to the Albany region all the time.
That would be actually lovely. It's like, I see that you're going to Albany. What's with this big thing that says KR and this other thing that says battle foam? What's that? Luggage.
Work items.
Yeah, work items. I've got a mixer in here. Yeah. That's
actually, custom cut battle foam would be a great like thing for sound equipment.
No. Bad Adam. Very bad Adam. Stop it.
Well, it would.
Yes, it would be. All right.
Last thing, I was on, either was or will be on a recent or upcoming episode of Life After the Cover Save, as will someone that John knows very well. So, and Jason actually.
Uh-oh.
Well, so my personal representation showed up on that episode, and
his personal rules lawyer.
Oh God,
my personal rules lawyer, and it was a pretty good episode. I feel sorry for the editing process on that episode.
They don't edit. What are you talking about?
Yeah, probably.
Yeah,
well, they do a little bit. But anyways, I'll be on there. It's pretty. You don't want to miss it because it's pretty great. Oh, that's it for me. Gosh, what are you guys up to?
You want to go first, John? Or you want me to go?
You go first, bud.
I think you guys should go at the same time.
Oh,
no, thank you.
Also, I apologize to the listeners if you hear cars going by every once in a while or the sounds of like lawn equipment. I had to open the window in here. It's getting a little funky, and it's a beautiful day out.
Yeah. Let's see.
Wait, I forgot to say what was on tap too. Gosh, I'm flustered.
Go for it.
Hey, Pete, how you doing? I want to tell you what's on tap tonight. What's on tap tonight is a 12-year aged Macallan Scotch.
Water here again.
I have water, but I figured every time Adam confuses Guilliman with Calgar, I'll take a shot of Grey Goose.
You're gonna die.
John will be dead. John will be dead. Very good.
See, there you go, Adam. That's your goal for the day.
To never utter the word Guilliman? Sure.
Bobby G? Yeah.
Moving on.
Okay, so my hobby progress. So, since I was last here, I've been out of town a lot, which is annoying. But I have started painting my Raven Guard again. I kind of was looking through my pictures and realized that I hadn't painted since the beginning of March because this semester's been, let's just say it's been busy, and we'll leave it at that. But I'm finishing the Assault Squad, which is cool. I'd forgotten how much fun it is to paint like Assault Marines because they don't have the bolters over the chest, so you can actually get more detail. I mean, I could go through and paint them, then assemble them, but that's not my style. I'm also working on the command squad for these guys, which will be really cool because they've got a banner. And, I've got some really cool Raven Guard transfers with banner, so I'm pretty stoked about that. Let's see, I did some minor work on the Thousand Suns character that I built last time. I've got two, bolter and sword, or bolt pistol and sword wielding HQs. I decided that I needed to be a little more precise on what I wanted to do with them, so I'm turning them into vigilators, which is a type of saboteur in 30K. So that means I need to change their pistols to bolters, so a little bit of cutting here and there, new guns, and they're good to go. Let's see. So that's my hobby. I've been doing reading because, like I said, I've been on planes a lot this month, and it's kind of annoying, but whatever. I read the Dawn of War 3 novel. Have y'all heard about this?
Mm-hmm. Oh, there's a novel?
Yeah, they did a novelization of the game.
Is Solaria in it?
Yeah.
Oh, freaking frick.
And
dude, I wrote no less than 10 pages of fluff about Solaria.
Oh. Sorry.
Well, okay. It's 2 pages of fluff written like 3 times, but still, plus a bunch of other stuff. I wrote rules for her.
Yeah.
I wrote a formation for her.
Yeah.
and there's a book with all kinds of information. I didn't even know that.
Well, it was it was released like maybe a week ago.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, as soon as you were done, they decided to come out with it.
Yeah, no, it's the novel's okay. It's decent. The author is Robbie McNiven, and he wrote the Kakaradon's book. That book is great. This book is not so much because I think his hands are tied because he has to do a novelization of a video game, and yeah, that's not that cool. I'd be really happy if Black Library would allow an author to just kind of uncouple the Blood Ravens from the Dawn of War game and to actually like write something that was not so tied into the game. Not that there's anything wrong with the game, but it's just, I don't know, it's a little too bolter porny for me, for lack of a better term.
Right.
Yeah. So, like I said, I've been traveling. Yay! And this past weekend, or well, actually yesterday and the day before, I was in Minnesota, hanging out in the Twin Cities, St. Cloud area. And I visited a few game stores, including the GW store. And I want to give a shout out to their manager, John, who's a really nice guy. Really nice store, really cool person. Talked to him for a while. And then because, I try to go to hobby stores, I wandered over to another hobby store and found a Shadow Wars Armageddon box.
Bum-ba-da-da.
Yeah, like I looked around the store for about 15, 20 minutes. I'm like, well, they don't have it. I feel kind of bad, but whatever. And so I was walking out and I was about to say, thanks to the guy behind the counter, and the box like moved into my field of vision. I was like, no, hold on, I'm going to go ahead and take this. I'm not going to say bye yet. So I picked that up. And then let's see, what else? I visited a hobby town and met the 40K player there named Ian, and I gave him a recipe for painting an apothecary, which was kind of random, but, cool. One of the things I like about all the traveling that I do is that it's always for work, which work is work. But I can go through to game stores and meet new and interesting people and tell them about Masters of the Forge and whatnot. So it's kind of evangelizing in a way, I guess. I don't know, whatever. But I meet a lot of interesting people. People that are like, I met a dude who was running. He was running that Space Wolves army. And as you guys know, I refer to the Space Wolves as the flea bags, without even thinking about it. And I was like, I was like, hey, who's got this army? Hey, that's cool. Da-da-da. I was like, who's got the flea bags? And the guy's like, I love that name. It's better than Space Corgis. I'm like, well, I'm glad I helped.
It could have been very different than be fighting words.
Yeah, well, I think flea bags are just like, yeah, I'm good with that. It's like you should make a relic that's like a flea collar or something like that.
Yes.
So the Blood Ravens can steal it?
It's called borrowing for safekeeping.
Aggressive loaning?
Steal. Aggressive borrowing.
We can't trust you with this. You'll break it.
You're going to break this. We're going to take this from you. We're going to put it in a storehouse and forget about it for a millennia or two. It'll be
yeah,
good.
like what my brother-in-law's mom did with his sting. We got him, all my wedding party all got swords, and the wedding bearer, or the ring bearer, or I guess it's a junior groomsman.
Yeah.
He was a junior groomsman, and I gave him Sting from the Lord of the Rings collection.
Yeah.
And his mom, put it up until he was older.
You'll poke your eye out with it, kid.
I mean, he could, but whatever.
Wait, was this Brandon?
Yeah, Brandon.
Yeah, he would have definitely poked his eye out. He would have killed himself. That's good on her for protecting her son. What if he listens to this? Hi, Brandon.
Hey, Brandon.
Hello.
But yeah, that is my hobby progress. Just reading and some painting. I'm going to do some more building. I think I'm going to make some breachers. Actually, I think that's coming up in my ideas or whatever. What about you, John?
Well, I don't have a ton of hobby progress, but I did the chipping on my accounts as Space Wolves. So all I have left to do is wrap up the bases on them and do the decals. I've made a lot of progress on my display board, doing all the freehand, which is slowly driving me insane, but whatever. like you just, oh my god, all the freehand. Why? Don't even, whatever.
Didn't I warn you about that?
Yeah, I need adult supervision. But I went down to Florida for 7 days down to Tampa to go visit an aunt and uncle and just relax during spring break versus just do nothing but lesson plans and work, which was really good. And while I was on the beach, I read, I think it's Knight's Blood or Knight's Bane. I gave that book off to you, Adam, on Thursday when I got back. And it was a really good book. And then I also just finished reading Angels of Caliban. I read that out on the beach. And being the super nerd I am, I also did a bunch of notes and read the last half of Rise of the Primarch.
Cool.
So that's about all I really was working on. And then I got to play in the tryout Shadow War for the first time with Adam and Josh on Thursday, which was a lot of fun. I literally blew the dust off my Grey Knights that I had, because I have not touched them since the very start of 6th edition, and had a couple fun games using them in Shadow War, so it was a lot of fun. And that was about all my hobby progress. That was it.
Yeah, we have a lot of Shadow Wars discussion in that podcast, so
Let's
my god. People are driving 100 miles an hour down my road. It's 40.
Witness me.
Yeah, Jesus. People are crazy. If I was a police officer in this town, I would just park in my driveway and wait for people to drive by because they think it's double yellow state road. The speed limit is obviously 4 trillion. And you could rack up a bunch of free tax money for the town if you just sat here.
I think this is a good chance for you to make a new friend.
Hey,
could be.
Are you a co-op?
Yeah.
Are you a co-op? You gotta tell me if you're a co-op.
So yeah, that was a lot of fun. Please check out that podcast if you want very in-depth, fun conversation about that game because it is amazing.
I'm looking forward to that also. I'd like to hear that.
Yes.
It's a lot of fun.
So much
Yeah.
fun. Wish you were here. Hashtag sad. Hashtag sorry. So I don't know about you guys, but I've been spending the past 24 hours or so coming up with really kind of scathing memes to post on 40K Facebook pages, trolling people. I'm a bad person.
Well, whatever.
Like, and it's not even like clever. You know, I'm just like whatever. I'm just posting things and loving it.
Well,
It's not even like I said. It's not even clever stuff. It's just I'm just
you're just having
tired
fun.
of people's crap. Tired of it.
Well,
I was in the airport all day yesterday and on flights, and so I read a few things. I'm just like, oh man. But I remember people were angry between 6th and 7th edition changes. Like, I don't like this. Da 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 da. The psychic phase is broken. Blah blah blah. And I'm actually pretty happy for this edition change. I mean, I come across I'm having to deal with a lot of teaching the game to people now, and teaching 7th edition is not easy.
No.
It's not self-explanatory. If people have played other systems and they automatically think, oh well, in this system it works that way. Like I had a discussion with the group about getting into base to base. Like, well, I can get into base to base and I don't have to charge. It's like, well, if you want to assault, you have to. And so there was some sort of argument about that with a couple of the guys in the group. I was like, hopefully 8th edition will fix this sort of stuff,
Yeah, and it's like I'm trying. I want to go to the portal. They have a 2-day GT in a couple weeks, and when I bring my army out there, I'm literally going to bring my army, my display board, whatever. But I have to bring all the templates, including the big templates, because I'm running
Oh
knights.
god, yeah.
I have to bring, I think it's 3 different books to run one army. And I mean, this edition, like 7th, was pretty good overall. But I'm really looking forward to getting that Age of Sigmar kind of treatment where the game just becomes a lot more streamlined and just hopefully a bit more fun to play too. Because there are some combinations you can make in this game. Like Adam, we were talking about running knights. We're both kind of hoping that knights are going to be toned down a little bit so you don't pop a knight or two on the table and the other opponent goes, "You're no fun."
Yeah, I invested 700 plus. I don't know, 700. Wait,
a lot.
700. A lot. $100 in this army.
Lots of hundreds.
I should be able to use it without my opponent like losing their minds.
Yeah.
And I think hopefully that's the kind of thing that we're going to be able to see. We're going to be able to see. You're going to be able to bring whatever you want to the table, and your opponent's going to be able to do something to it, and that should be a lot of fun. That should be really good, and hopefully that will, in the long run, help people accept the game a lot more than they do right now.
I'm looking forward to just dragging along less books. You've seen various incarnations of my army where I'd have Grey Knights, Pandus Librarians, my Imperial Knight, and then Space Marines. That's what, 4, 5 books right there?
Yeah.
And I remember a couple of times going out to the shop thinking, well, my bag is about to tear my shoulder off,
Yep.
And I'm really looking forward to fewer books. I would totally dig was it the General's Handbook? I would like that treatment. That would make things a lot easier.
Yeah, and that also helps with adjusting things as time goes. So, like, points values adjustments can happen. When you have all the points in one place, a lot of the other stuff in one place, like the faction bonuses, you can gently nudge things in one direction or the other to make sure that some of the more egregious bonuses are fair.
Yeah. Yeah, which I think is one of the things that we saw as a real issue in 7th edition, especially with some of the, you had the Tau and you had Eldar who could do some pretty nasty things, and you have the Nids and the Orcs that can't, and
if you could, like, that's just it. Orcs are fine, Tyranids are fine. They're fine. It's just some other things are so nasty that they don't feel fine.
Yeah.
If you know what I mean. So, like, if you could tweak armies a little bit with either points or with some kind of general adjustment, then and put that in a annual $25 paperback.
Yeah, that would be an easy sell.
I can't imagine anyone in an age where they pay $5 to $10 a month for their music service.
Yeah.
Or $100 to $200 a month for their cable service.
Yeah.
Or $10 to $15 a month for their Netflix or whatever.
Yeah.
I can't imagine these people will complain about a $25 book every year. If you do, you're part of the problem.
I'm totally stoked for it. I think it'll be a lot of fun. And the thing is that one thing that I was thinking about more and more was if it is a book like that, it gives a chance for people to buy more armies. Like, one of the things that kept me from buying certain models is like, well, I don't have the codex, and if I get the codex, I need to figure out how to equip all these things, so that it actually works. And I think that this would actually allow GW to sell more models, which isn't a bad thing.
And it really reminds me a lot of back in 3rd edition. Like, 2nd edition got really, really, really complicated, which is kind of what 2nd edition's whole thing was, which is pretty cool and all. But 3rd edition, literally, you had 100 pages at the front for your basic rules, then another 100 pages in the back, and they had every codex right there that you could just flip right through and read about every single army. And then the army books that came out were almost kind of supplements to that. And it'd be kind of nice to almost see them go back to that, because I just remember it being so much easier. And I mean,
I don't think there's going to be any rules in the main rule book for individual armies. Like, I have a feeling that they're going to follow the same kind of mode as Sigmar, where you'll have they've gone out and said the rules are going to be free.
Yeah.
So you can download the rules.
Well,
the rules for the game. But with the General's Handbook, I think they'll do, like you said, like they just did, is like faction bonuses, generic faction bonuses, generic the points values. Any manner of game imbalance can be somewhat fixed by adjusting points.
Yeah.
So, like, if something's too powerful, I mean, you don't want to go back and redo a whole codex.
That's right.
Just to fix that one thing. But if you can go back and be like, okay, this is 87 hajillion points now because of this combo, then you're good to go.
Yeah, and that can be done on the fly. They can actually, fix it on Friday, have it uploaded by Monday.
That's good. And I think, even though all your rule books are going to be basically invalidated, that doesn't mean that I can't imagine they won't do what they did with Sigmar, and that is release the rules along with the units on the website. So where right now with Age of Sigmar, you go to the website and you go to the unit entry, and there's a place where you click to buy, and then there's a place where you click to download the rules.
Yeah.
So what I think you'll see is what you'll need to do is you'll need to buy a $40 paperback or whatever, because they said that the rules were going to be, for each army on the day of release, were going to be affordable.
Yeah.
So I'm not sure if that means a cheap PDF or if that means a $40 paperback. Either way, I think what you'll, like right now with Sigmar, if you want the, what do you call them? They're like formations.
Battle scrolls.
Detachments.
Yeah, battle scrolls.
War scrolls, whatever.
Yeah.
War scroll detachments, whatever. If you want a 40k formation or detachment that's specific to your army, you're probably going to have to buy the rulebook for that.
Yeah.
But I'm not sure. It's possible they might put out anything that's been already released. So, like, if you're like, oh, I was playing my Gladius Strike Force, well, I wonder if they'll have the formation available for download. If not, it'll be in the codex, I'm sure.
Yeah.
It's gonna be interesting. I look at how Sigmar is doing their things, and you can go through and purchase the rule. Well, a lot of the War Scrolls come in free, but if you want more interesting stuff, you have to pay a little bit for those. And so I'm figuring that's probably where things are going to go. So
yeah, if you buy the packs off the app, they show up in your app.
Yeah,
so that's pretty cool.
I'm hoping we'll still do physical copies because I do tend to like that more.
Yeah,
I'm sure. I wouldn't count. I don't know if they'll have all the codexes available.
Yeah.
In print on day one. That would be quite the undertaking. I wouldn't put it past them, but I would assume that there will be a very reasonable priced or free version on their website of your rules.
Yeah.
But that's all conjecture on our part.
Yeah, we don't know because no one has told us anything.
But with the rule set changing so dramatically, I mean, all these people seem so surprised. Like, I'm not surprised. Don't you people like listen to our show? Don't you listen to the independent characters or any other show that has said, like, listen, people, you need to expect that many elements of Age of Sigmar. These people, they have to be listening to like Signals from the Front Line. Like, those people actually have talked to the Games Workshop. Like, expect very many of the rules from Age of Sigmar to show up. Yeah. The only thing that we haven't been saying is, oh, they're gonna nuke the world. They're not good. Nobody thought they were gonna do that, except for like people who don't listen.
Well, you'd be amazed.
I don't know why people are so surprised. Like, we've all been saying it. Everyone has been saying it. Expect Age of Sigmar to be kind of this testing ground for certain things for 40K.
Yeah, and I'm looking forward to it. I don't think our listeners are the ones that are that are having the issues. I think it's other people that are. I think there's actually a lot of people who don't play anymore. That I used to play, but I don't play anymore, and I'm going to sit here in your forum and complain about 40K. Yeah. I have a feeling it's.
Why are you on this group?
Yeah.
Just leave. Don't let the door hit your ass on the way out.
We do have a couple of local guys that are like that who, every time I show up to play, they complain about Games Workshop as loud as they can. And it's like, hey, man, I don't go through and make fun of your unpainted models. Go away. So.
Yeah, I don't know why people feel the need to do that.
Yeah. But, hey,
That's why I don't feel bad about trolling them. I will continue to do so. That's not very professional. I don't care. So...
Yeah.
On the other happier topics.
I think that's good for now. We'll table this discussion until... we'll probably talk a little bit about it. Now, however, this is going to mess things up a little bit. We have some stuff coming up that's kind of rulesy. I think we're going to have to postpone all of that. To be honest,
that's possible because we are running late.
Yeah, so we'll see. Definitely be interesting. We'll let you know on the Facebook page what we decide to do, how we decide to proceed forward with the show topics. But please hang in there. We're gonna go take a break and we're gonna come back and talk about something that is still relevant. And that is the second part of our Gathering Storm 3 Rise of the Primarch coverage.
Hello, everyone. The Masters of the Forge is now a proud member of the NPC, the Narrative Podcast Consortium. Our aim is to inspire your hobby through the rich lore of the 41st millennium. If you enjoy our podcast, then make sure to check out these other awesome shows where you can get coverage on campaigns, Black Library, and all kinds of general topics of the 40K background.
The NGC 40K podcast also provides in-depth campaign coverage audio dramas, and free-flowing narrative campaign creation.
The Adeptus Terra podcast also features in-depth discussions of the lore and commentary on the hobby.
Oh, and sexy English voices.
Oh, yeah.
The Masters of the Forge brings the world of 40k to life on your tabletop, with discussion on the lore, backed up by narrative-themed rules and battle reports.
Of course, this is only a fraction of the topics covered by the podcasts of the NPC. Please tune in to find out more.
Greetings, mofos!
Are you out of George Dickel number 8, staring at a broken chess machine?
Don't want to spend the rest of the year tied to that couch?
Well, why don't you head on over to the 1 Hour a Night Facebook page and see what exciting stuff is going on there. It's a place to post all your daily progress in the hobby grind, as well as receive and give positive feedback. Also, there are usually a few interesting challenges going on.
That's right. All you have to do is search for 1 Hour a Night on Facebook. That's numeral 1 Hour a Night, all one word. Blood serum tests will be administered prior to approval.
Se til helvete og kom dere vekk. Det ikke bikkje, det en slags ting. Den imiterer bikkje, men det ikke det. Kom dere vekk, idioter!
What he said.
Starting the segment. Starting the segment. Starting the segment. I'm taking my time because I'm not on that page yet.
You realize I'm not going to edit this out, right?
It's page 64.
Nope, not the page. I'm looking for my notes.
It's looking
for
notes.
That's page 3.
Gotta find the notes. Looking for
I'll take note of it.
With my notes. And we have episode 92. And we have episode 92 loading over Time Warner's terrible internet.
It's called Spectrum
what you have
Business
to do when you're reading these books, I think, and I don't know, you should always be wary when someone tells you what you got to do here is think of it as a really flowery textbook.
Yeah.
Because you can't compare it to a novelization.
Yeah.
They're trying to pack in as many events as possible, give you as many seeds for your own stories as they can as they progress through the story. So you can... These campaign books are meant to fuel your creativity for the game. And to think of it as kind of a novelization is a bad... You're going to have a bad day when you try to do that, okay? So just think of it as like one of your textbooks or something from school, except where a textbook where they go into way too much detail about people dying. So just try to think of it that way.
And to continue with that, there's actually a Red Corsairs sidebar that's really nice, but all it is a very brief history of the Corsairs, which I think is pretty cool, and I'm sure that our buddy Pete, who plays Astral Claws, is probably quite happy with it. But it seriously is just like a textbook. I mean, it's just real short, and you see these little sidebars throughout. There's one on Corsairs, there's one on Cypher. What were the other ones? There was a couple of others that are just... Yeah,
the flavor text and, like, there's little side stories that actually have, like, dialogue in them, and those are great. Like, you can tell that that this is meant to be read as a proper narrative, but the rest of it, there's intentionally no dialogue. If you see, so and so said this, but it's not actually a direct quote. It's like, this person explained this thing to the group. But it's never like, actually written up, because it's for space. They're trying to put in as much information as possible. Again, to fuel your ideas for playing the game, to give you inspiration. Okay.
Yeah.
Think of it as a Wikipedia article, actually, like an article in Wikipedia where you're just like, this is giving me information. This isn't as much for entertainment as it is, except for the fights. They're just like, okay, so let's make a textbook and then like 20 pages of fighting.
Yeah, that
And I think that this book is pretty good, fighting wise. Like the fighting isn't too bad, but
yeah. It's not like the previous book that we all just kind of were unhappy with.
So the Crusade fleet has been reduced to about a third of their original number, to about 30 starships. But it's still led by McCraig's Honor, and they're still kind of plowing through the much increased in size Maelstrom. And an Eldar has appeared before Guilliman and provided him with information on how to get out.
Eldar,
and they're following these directions. And then they finally come to this place that she had described as a resting place of hollow ghosts, which is thousands of wrecked vessels of all kinds linked with brass chain and lit by these green stars. And you have cruise ships, Harud, Nikasar, which we've discussed in the past.
Yeah.
And it's this huge web that seems to extend infinitely in all directions. So Guilliman's like, well, I'm not going to fly around this thing. We can't jump into the here. Yeah, we have to go through it. And when they do try to go through it, they're kind of attacked by a bunch of disguised chaos vessels lying in wait. Apparently, the foresight of Fate Weaver had given the Red Corsairs exactly the right location where the fleet would emerge. And I love this section because it kind of the writer of this, I think it's Andy Smiley, was it?
Maybe. Sounds about right.
I forget.
Yeah.
But he's clearly thinking about the nerdy reader. Yeah. It would be enough for anyone to have said, "Oh, there's a web of spaceships in front of me. I can't go." Well, Well, why don't you just go around it? You have a spaceship. It's space. Well, he explains that, and then he's like, "Oh, but if it's
based on Battlefleet Gothic rules, yeah, and then you have ship-to-ship action. Zone Mortalis can be brought in.
Absolutely.
If I remember right, I think it was Adon from the ICs that built some sort of, or he was involved with building in some sort of Void War Zero Gravity rule set, and this would be perfect for that rule set that he put together.
That would be cool.
Yeah.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. I think it's his group does. I think they had a big event, and the pictures from that were just unreal.
Well, that could be used perfectly for this. I loved reading this little section. It was so cool and so visual. Just a lot of fun.
I very much feel like when they sat down to write different chapters or different segments of this book, they basically, I think they started off, this would make a cool Battlefleet Gothic situation. This would make a cool Zone Mortalis. This would be cool here. This would be cool here. They're not all big, giant apocalypse battles. Kind of very few and far between almost. It's pretty interesting how they wrote this. Yeah, it was really cool. So, it is Red Corsairs, though, so they're not destroy. Well, they do take an opportunity to completely obliterate a Raven Guard ship, which is just mean. Huh. But the rest of the ships, they just kind of cripple their weapons so that they can be boarded.
Yeah.
So, you know what? I guess the Raven Guard are the last people you'd want to do boarding actions against, to be honest.
They would
That does make sense to me. So, yeah, they start boarding the ships, and then we have a big kind of battle on the bridge of the McCraig's Honor. And I like how they described the fact that the bridge was designed in a way that the consoles are fortified on the one side so that they could be used as places of refuge during a battle. Yeah. So if someone storms the bridge, all of the consoles and stuff are fortified so you can hide behind them and take defensive positions. But the description of this place was really impressive in the first half of the book. Remember, this is a cavernous. When Guilliman steps on the bridge, he's like, Jesus, you guys. Wow, this is quite the bridge. Yeah. Well done.
You guys landing Storm Ravens in here? What's going on?
There's just a smidge of lens flare.
Yeah. All it needs is a bunch of lens flares. Unfortunately, when Guilliman goes to intercept Fate Weaver, we find out that Fate Weaver has this whole time, like, remember we were talking about how Guilliman has been shown visions of his success. What terrible things will happen if he succeeds and everything, and all of his doubt and hate and anger and disappointment. Kairos weaves a spell that manifests it physically, and he's bound by it. And so the entirety of the Pilgrim's forces are imprisoned and brought to the Red Corsairs' base of operations on a Blackstone fortress.
Yeah, another Blackstone fortress.
It was apparently gifted to them by Abaddon.
Yeah.
And like, that kind of just shows Abaddon's power. Like, the fact that he's just like, yeah, here, you just have a Blackstone fortress. I don't care.
It's like Oprah. You get a Blackstone
fortress.
Yeah.
What's that underneath your chair?
That leads us to... Oh, wait. Sorry, John?
I was like, what's that under your chair? A Blackstone fortress. Yay!
Even the model from Battlefleet Gothic would be like, oh my god, this is heavy. You could kill a man with that model. So Mission 3, McCraig's Honor. I thought this was interesting because the chaos. This is kind of a more. This is the most normal deployment of the 3 missions we're going to talk about.
Yeah, I noticed that.
It's just normal, and the chaos. I thought it was interesting. The Chaos Forces arrive in set waves.
Yeah.
So that's an interesting tool you can use in your games.
Yeah, and the deployment zone is the far edge. You know, the far short edge is a zone breach, which is pretty cool.
Yeah, it's really cool. And I thought that the mechanic for binding Guilliman was a collective 6 successes rolled by Fate Weaver and any of his followers during the ritual. So I think it's like, you know, certain models get a certain number of dice, and you roll them, and if you get, I think it was a 3-up or a 4-up, you get a success. And then throughout the game, once you get to 6 successes, Guilliman is bound. I think we had something similar in the last mission of Fenris.
Yeah.
So I think that's a really cool system that you can take and just use. You could use it for lots of things, like any mechanical repair or mechanical sabotage, or any other kind of magical kind of ritual that's being cast.
Yeah. So they just had to make 6 total. Is that correct?
Not in one turn.
Okay.
Total. It's meant to be easy, I think, because that's what happens in the story.
Yeah. Wow. Okay, that could be. It's a 3-up on it too.
Yeah, so it's pretty easy. But like I said, it's an Echoes of War mission, so it's following very closely what happens.
Yeah.
So for your own missions, you might want to adjust that.
Yeah.
Of course, the fact that it was Fate Weaver himself casting it, that explained why it's only a 3-up. He's very powerful, and he's spent a lot of time kind of infesting Guilliman's subconscious.
Yeah, so basically this is meant to be, unless you can pop Fate Weaver quickly, which I don't know how you could do that.
Well, Fate Weaver is relatively weak physically, and both from a narrative perspective and from the actual rules. Okay. And the reason he's so weak rules-wise is because he has given up some of his power, some of his physical power, in order to be able to perceive all the schemes of fate in the future and perceive all of the past that's led up to it.
He's a nerd.
He's given up a lot of his physical ability just for that ability. So I think that's really interesting. Yeah, he went into this tower. I forget what it's called, but he went there, and that's a place that even Zinch won't go. So the fact that Kairos Fate Weaver actually survived it, that says a lot about its psyche, that's for sure.
Yeah.
So yeah, they're imprisoned on this Blackstone fortress, and I guess Fate Weaver kind of says, well, we got to keep him alive because if I can drive him mad, that would be way more of a boon to us than killing him, because we can cut him loose on the Imperium. If he gets pissed off enough at the Imperium, we can cut him loose and he'll just mess them up. But Fate Weaver's prognostication is not enough to predict a giant red comet wreathed in black flame sent by Scarbrand, which crashes into the fortress and all kinds of demons pop out.
Sure, why not?
Yeah. I really like the way he described the red mist that hangs in the air as things die and demons, like corn demons, spawn out of the red mist. I think that's a really cool way of describing the blood tithe points, how they're manifested on the tabletop.
Yeah.
Thought that was really cool.
Yeah, that was pretty cool.
And during this mess, Salandri, Veilwalker, and Cypher show up. Ba-ba-da-ba.
Suddenly, Cypher.
So mysterious.
They released this captive Space Marines in Skatar. Now, it's really funny because I kind of think that the level to which this host of Space Marines has been captured is rather staggering. So, like, hundreds of Space Marines, all of their vehicles, including Dreadknights, and Vindicators and Land Raiders, are all being held inside the Blackstone Fortress.
Where are the Blood Ravens for this gig?
I know, right? They're like, whoa, whoa. So, like, all of the regular humans have been killed. So, like, the crew of the ships, the Sisters of Battle, and the Astra Militarum were all sacrificed.
Wow.
It's hardly civil.
No, it's not. It's not. It was very...
It's really rude.
It's just a battle. I guess we have to kill them eventually in the story because that's what we do.
And then wear them like, flesh or something. I don't know.
Yeah, some kind of horrible thing because that's what we do.
But this is Astra Militarum. I mean, born to die. I mean, literally. Yeah. They're rescued by the. Now I think it's interesting. Cypher, gives some. He's like, okay, if you want to be released, you have to promise me to bring me before the Emperor.
And then they do a pinky swear through the
Guilliman.
cage bars.
Guilliman definitely pinky swears.
Yeah.
So sure. So they all kind of head into the depths of the Blackstone Fortress. I mean, long story short, it's a cool fight, but long story short, most of them make it, and some of them make it. Whatever. There's Dread Knights involved, and a Vindicator shoots a bridge, and a bunch of demons fall to their deaths. I thought that was really cool. It's basically a giant Star Wars gantry fight, a classic Star Wars gantry fight on crack, because then Scarbrand shows up. He starts whooping butt. We lose all the Black Templars. Amalric dies.
Yeah.
But Scarbrand comes out of the melee with Amalric's black sword sticking out of his chest. And this is,
It's awesome.
Funny.
It is awesome. It's really awesome. And Guilliman's fighting him, and he has to go. It's great that Scarbrand is stoking Guilliman's rage. And Guilliman is able to compartmentalize it down and lock it away. And in that moment of clarity, he kind of backs away from Scarbrand and shoots the sword.
That's so awesome.
The sword explodes in Scarbrand's chest and he falls over the side. I'm going to be really upset if Scarbrand's alive because that was awesome.
You know what? So it's, the way I like how this book's written is every member of the Chaos faction is trying to get Guilliman just to join them. Like, all right, we're going to corrupt him this way. It's going to be so easy. We got this. Guilliman's like, no, I'm actually okay. I just want to go back to Earth for a while. It's fine. It's whatever. I really don't want to do Chaos. And it's just like they have so many chances to just beat the crap out of this guy. And they never take it because they kind of want another Primarch on their side. It's kind of interesting.
Now, we're talking about, this is, unfortunately, our Black Templar friends will be upset, because this is literally the sword wielded by Sigismund during the battle for the Imperial Palace.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, it's a bummer. It's kind of a bummer.
That means that the Blood Ravens didn't have a chance to steal it.
Yeah,
But you
yeah,
can always
sorry,
glue the pieces back together. You know, there's still hope.
I don't know, man. That once you break like that, it's just kind of hard to get back, you know? Phrasing.
Yeah, especially when you have to find Scarbrand and break him apart and find all the pieces that are like in his body. That would be cool if he was still alive, but if like pieces of Sigismund's sword somehow like they couldn't excise them for some reason and it had them all messed up.
Yeah, that'd be pretty
That would
fun.
be a cool story.
Yeah.
So, where were we? Ah, yes, they jumped through onto Luna, and apparently, unfortunately, Inquisitor Greyfax had a helmet on or something, and she's not dead.
Well,
so that's whatever.
Sorry, dude.
Yeah,
I originally thought she. Sorry, John.
Candle hat.
Candle hat could be the candle hat. At first I assumed she was in one of the rhinos because clearly there's rhinos and vindicators and stuff. But later on during this battle, she's shooting people with her bolter and stuff on the moon, so that's cool. Well, they go to great lengths to talk about the Skitarii, how their flesh is blackening and everything from being on the moon and being messed up by the radiation of the sun and whatever. But they're kept alive long enough to fight, at least.
One side note here, for those of you who are interested in the heresy stuff, there are a lot of short stories that take place on the moon, and they mostly concern Garrow, the Knights Errant, and the Sisters of Silence. Oh, also the Death Guard that accompanied Garrow on the Eisenstein on the Fight the Eisenstein book. Sorry, sidebar.
Yeah, I've heard good things about the Garrow kind of epic.
Yeah, I'm rereading it now. I finished all my books yesterday on my tablet, and I still had my Garrow books. So I was like, all right, I'm going to start reading those because I've got 5 more hours in airports. Yeah. Yeah.
So I need to talk about the final bridge mission.
Mission 4.
Mission 4, yeah, this is the mission where this is the final bridge. I think the really interesting part about this mission is the deployment.
Yeah.
It's so confusing. Okay. Stick with me here. On the left side of the table, okay, first of all, you need a 14-foot by 10-foot area to play this game.
Yeah, it's a big one.
On the left side of the board, you have 3 Realm of Battle boards in a T shape. So 2 on the top, 1 on the bottom, in the middle. On the right side of the board, you have the same thing. And they're on extreme sides. In the middle, you have 5 boards aligned vertically and a board on each side in the middle one. So it looks like a plus.
Yeah.
But a really tall plus. Or a really tall lowercase t. So the tall lowercase t is attached to both of the small uppercase t's, except only by a 12-inch margin instead of the entire board.
Yeah.
So it's really so each side is left side is the Tzeentch deployment, the right side is the Khorne deployment, and the bottom is the Imperial deployment.
Yeah.
And you're allowed to actually jump over the space between the boards if you have the movement to do it.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
Yeah. And I think the way it's set up, the Chaos players should be able to actually shoot over it and fly over it and, like, harry the Imperial players.
Yeah.
But they're going to have anything on foot has to kind of meet in the middle. And the Chaos players have this, only this 12-inch width space where they can get through to that. And it's up to the Imperial player to run all the way to the other side to the webway portal.
Yeah. And it's 8, what is it, 8 game turns is the mission.
It's gotta be, because
Yeah.
It is.
if it weren't, you would never get there.
No, because that's going to be, the Imperial player has to cross at least 6 feet if they deploy right at the edge of their deployment zone. And
Carried the entire way.
yeah, I mean, like, bikers could get across pretty easily within, 3 turns, but
If you're playing a narrative Echoes of War mission, you're
Yeah.
gonna have a good mix. You'll have, I mean, I think that a Space Marine Battle Company is perfect
yeah.
for this, except I'll just paint it different. Just have people like, all right, man, all right, what chapter do you have? All right, great, you're bringing the Assault Marines. Okay, what do you got? Okay, you're bringing some Tactical Marines. You know.
Here, bring some rhinos.
And
Yeah.
And who do we have that has a mess load of Ultras?
And one of the things I really like about this mission too is Scarbrand's Rage, where if like you do have those bikers that are running out in front, you get Scarbrand to catch up with them, and he literally draws them to him. I really like that
Because
little
he's
added
all chaosy
Yeah,
and enraging people.
that is impressive.
Yeah, it's really cool. I like this mission. You should check it out if you're interested in just looking at how to make a big game fun for people.
Yeah.
Make it more than just an apocalypse game. Make it matter. Make it interesting. But as always,
and a 10 by 14 board room, I don't know. That's going to be interesting. I think that probably a larger point game needs to happen, just because imagine running 1,000 points trying to get that across 14 feet or 10 feet.
Oh yeah, definitely. Yeah. You can't do this in every game store.
No.
Certainly not every Games Workshop, from what I understand.
No. Some of them are smaller than others, shall we say? Yeah.
Yeah, and I misspoke earlier, you guys. I forgot that the portal doesn't lead directly to Luna. Of course, it leads to the Webway.
The Webway.
Yeah, it's not. These portals don't go from one place. They go to they go into the Webway, which you go to find another portal. And the thought is, okay, Guilliman kind of understands that what's happened here, that Magnus threw them into the Maelstrom to weaken them and to force their hand, to force them to like find the quickest route home.
Yeah.
And there is apparently a Webway portal to the Imperial Palace, which we know about from reading The Beast Arises, and I believe the Horus Heresy obviously also has a bunch of books which refer to it.
Including The Master of Mankind, which is, I think, the most recently released that deals with that.
Right.
Yeah.
Voldus believes Magnus might seek to follow them into the portal, or follow them to the portal, but Guilliman kind of knows that Magnus is definitely aware of the gate's location because of certain events in the Horus Heresy, but he thinks that he thinks they just need them to get through it, to get through the wards. So they realize, okay, we can't use this portal because that would be bad. So instead, Veilwalker reveals that there's a portal on Luna. So they decide to go ahead and use. They're harried by the Thousand Suns. It's kind of like this little pre-battle is a little bit of an afterthought, and they don't really, they don't use it in any of the missions. But they make it through this initial like assault by the Thousand Suns, and they go onto the moon.
Yeah.
But yeah, they're definitely followed onto Luna by the Thousand Suns and eventually Magnus. At first, they all kind of just set up around the crater and just put bullets into the enemy. But then Magnus shows up, and that just not good for anybody.
Yeah. One of the fun things in the battle that I actually quoted here, and John and I were talking about earlier, was, here's Magnus, and Imperial pilots are like blitz firing at him and like just flying around him. And there's a quote: "Angrily, Magnus swept his clawed hand through the air, dragging one gunship sideways with Telekine power and smashing into the other." Kind of a Godzilla King Kong vision, right?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes, I love it. I love it.
I keep expecting him to walk on top of the Empire State Building and start swatting things. I don't know.
Well, that's why Guilliman is like, okay, I have to fight him because he's just going to kill everyone.
Yeah.
So he personally engages his brother in a battle, and I really like this. The author goes into actual narrative mode here, which I think he kind of had to.
Yeah.
And I love this short exchange between the two brothers, where Magnus kind of says, talks about how this is what power looks like. Guilliman says, "Oh, all I see is you're just corrupted," and he's like, "No, this is what power looks like." And Guilliman says, "I see no power here. I see corruption, and enslavement to monsters that are worshipped as gods." And Magnus replies, "On that, Rabute, perhaps we can finally agree." And I'm like, "Oh, snap! Snap! Ba-da-ba-ba-da-ba. Wait. Boom. So yeah, that was a big snap. I really liked that. That was really good. It was really cool. Unfortunately, also in that section, Magnus, I found out, does not know when to use I and me. He's like, he goes, something with my rubrics and I instead of rubrics and me or something like that. It just took me totally out of the story because
yeah,
even Magnus is afraid to say and me when it's appropriate. So every time I'm in a meeting and someone's like so da and I, it's like, no, you have to use me in that one, but that's fine.
Oh, no,
I'm going to actually find it in the text because
You're going to make a great team
I
leader.
need to point this out. It's very important to me to find this. And it's like, it's only going to take me 10 minutes to find it. Da-da-da-da-da, because I don't have the book open. Now I have to navigate. It's a thing I have to do because I have a crazy brain. Some of us have crazy brains, and that's okay. And I'm just going to find it.
I'm not editing this out.
Nor
Yes,
should you.
You are a good person.
This should be the introduction. Just do a loop of this a whole new episode.
Looking for the book, which I totally have.
So, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, and children of all ages,
This is why you spray paint outside.
Yeah. Wow.
Yes, that is exactly what that means. You should definitely paint outside and wear a mask because that's so important.
Wow. Yeah, I'm not editing this. Let's go. This is going to be great.
It's really good. Listen. You know what's really important? Pedantry. It's important that we nurture pedantic behavior in all its beautiful, beautiful forms.
I was going
That's
to make
all
a
I'm
joke about
saying.
podiatry, but I decided not to. Just because. Not there's anything wrong with podiatry, just, podiatry, I'm not going to say the other word because I don't want to pull off another word that will definitely have to go into the beep chart. Okay.
So am I the only one that whenever Magnus was talking in this book, I picture or imagined his voice like that one dude from Revenge of the Nerds with the nasally voice? I'm gonna get you, Guilliman.
I did not have that voice in my head whenever I was reading this.
But now you do.
The
and you're
Cyclopean
welcome.
sorcerer's smile turned into a sneer when he noticed his brother's glance to the skies above. Hoping to keep my sons and I occupied until the remains of this palsied Imperium come to save you? Sons and me, Magnus. Sons and me. What are you thinking?
I hope more people are laughing. I hope it's not just John and I.
Hopefully.
It's you. I hate you so much. So much. I hate you so much.
Oh, the only way to be better is if you made a pun there, too.
Oh, I'm going into apoplexy.
Troll level. I'm not even sure my troll level is now. I think I might have just broken the chart.
It might be over 9,000.
Woohoo! Zeus level, Magnus level troll. There we go.
This whole troll. You know what? I wonder if Magnus would do that just to irritate Guilliman, right? Like, I wonder if that's just that's not an on-accident, that's not an accident of writing. That's literally like an inside joke that Magnus has with himself because he knows his brother's straight-laced and compartmentalizes things too much. He probably does stuff like that just to frustrate him.
I would.
I'm waiting for the fight scene where they just start making puns during the middle of it. I'm waiting for that one.
No.
Yarick gets his arm ripped off. The Orc War Boss. Oh, I disarmed you. That'd be fun.
Wow.
That'd be good. That'd be good.
Okay, so we've talked about the fight between Bobby G and Maggie R.
Yeah, they have a fight, and reinforcements show up, lasers from the sky. It's awesome. And three Valkyries of the from the Adeptus Astra Telepathica show up and make a beeline for Magnus. We know who this is.
Yeah.
One of the Valkyries is stricken out of the sky, but the others show up. They get destroyed too, but not before two squads of Sisters of Silence pop out.
Hey! Yeah.
They're here to save you.
Looking cool, ready to shoot. Rock and roll.
Yep. And boy, Magnus is pissed when his spells get fizzled. He straight up throws a broken spaceship on Guilliman, and he has a moment where he's like, "I'm gonna give up." Then he's like, "I'm Robo Girly Man. I can lift this," and he punches his way out of the wreckage and starts beating on his brother.
Yeah. This area kind of reminded me of what was the fight scene between Vader and Skywalker in Empire Strikes Back, where those stuff just being thrown, telekinetically.
Yeah, it's really fun. Read it for yourself. It's a pretty cool fight. But at the end of the day, Veil Walker and some of her companions are able to communicate to Guilliman that if he throws Magnus into the webway portal and they seal it, he'll be destroyed.
Yeah.
Guilliman doesn't really buy it, but he does it anyways. And they are eventually successful, but Magnus, they're trapping him in the labyrinth. How is that? Did I miss something in the text?
I didn't understand that either.
What I kind of gathered from it is that they were going to throw him into this labyrinth, and he basically is stuck there. Because I think,
yeah, but it's the webway, right?
But it's David Bowie. And
I was about to say, Goblin Ken will pop out.
Isn't Ahriman in there?
Yeah, but it's
Doesn't
Ahriman.
he know the way?
Yeah.
So...
I didn't understand it either, because I thought...
Yeah, this doesn't seem to be a problem.
Yeah.
Okay, well, I'm glad I'm not the only one who was confused. Perhaps the listeners read something different. And here we have Mission 5, Amidst the Sea of Storms. And this is a proper Apocalypse-size game.
Yeah.
It's basically a 12-foot square game, battlefield, where the inside has been kind of removed. So it's the crater. And people can play on the inside of it. The Chaos players set up on the inside portion of the crater. And hopefully all your Chaos players are skinny. And, your Imperium players can have a few pounds. But your Chaos players need to be skinny, or maybe just one guy I
I
don't
need
know.
to kind of set it up as like the tables in like a U? Is that the easiest way to explain that?
It's a circle, but there is like 1 2-foot like path that is left open so that you can get out of the crater if you need to.
Yeah.
I'd say you could actually close it up and just crawl under the table if you wanted to. It's not a big deal.
You know, Adam,
but in the book, it's actually set up as almost enclosed, but not quite.
And you know, Adam, we actually had something similar to this years ago up at the Goblin store back when that was still around. We had that one APOC game where we had it set up like a big H. And people
that was
walking in and out. I mean, you could almost do the same thing here.
Yeah, that's really the idea, is to have kind of this inside deployment zone and outside deployment zone. It's really cool. Here they also have hard vacuum, and I think this is a great rule for vacuums. All weapons have the rending special rule. Totally makes sense to me. Low gravity. All infantry have jump. I think it was a little bit of a miss. I think they might have mistakenly forgot to include monstrous creatures, so Bobby G and the Dread Knights can also jump if they want to, because otherwise they forgot. So I would say if you play this, have it be infantry and monstrous creatures are allowed to have the jump rule.
Plus, that's 30 extra points for your Dread Knight, since you won't take it as a jump pack unit. So.
And Space Marine captains can use orbital strikes, as well as chapter masters, and they are not one use only.
Oh, wow. Okay, yeah, I did not see that. This is going to be an interesting, game.
I think it'll be fun, but this is meant to be.
Oh yeah.
Game. This is an enormous game with the Imperial Fish show up and they're slamming into the planet with their drop pods, killing dudes. This is going to be a total this is going to be a big fight. So that's pretty cool.
That's actually. I'm sorry, looking over the stuff real quick. I was just thinking of other stuff that could be used, like as almost as a drop pods. Like maybe you can deep strike other things, but that's not in the rules, so I'm not going to say anything.
Yeah, I think it says all the Imperials have the deep strike special rule.
Oh, it does.
All the reinforcements have the deep strike special. Yeah, it's really cool.
Oh, yeah. That means you could be dropping, whirlwinds and rhinos and land raiders. That's what you need, is deep striking land raiders. That's what you need.
That's what life needs. Yeah.
True. Yeah, I thought about that.
Yeah. In this section, we have a sidebar, a communique between two Eldar. I believe it's a psychic communication of some kind.
Yeah.
They're fighting demons on one of the pillar worlds. And the Necrons wake up and start shooting the demons. It's like, oh, good, we have friends. Unfortunately, the Autarch in the Force orders them to fire upon the Necrons, and now the Eldar are fighting both the demons and the Necrons. Yvrain, it's revealed that
always the Autarchs.
Yeah, the stupid Autarchs, freaking more hungry jerks. And Yvrain had actually suggested, wherever you meet people who are shooting at demons, be their friend. Just do it. Fortunately, Asserman is on his way.
Oh, yeah. I'll have to start reading.
So I wonder if this ties into the Asserman book by our friend Gav Thorpe.
Well, I have that. I'm going to start reading that. Okay.
Does that be interesting?
Yeah.
So that leads us to the Terra section.
Yes, Terra.
This whole moon mission, I don't know. It could have just been a hoax made in some dude's basement. I'm not certain. I'm not sold on it.
Really?
There's no way to
There's pictures, but I don't know. They could
conversation in Skype. I feel like this is oversight on the part of the people who design the software.
You can't strangle John through the software?
No.
Yeah. Oh.
I could turn on my video camera and put my butt in the screen, I guess.
Just gotta minimize this whole window now.
All right. So I think the description of the descent to Terra and to the doors of the throne room are excellent.
Yeah, there's some really, really cool stuff in there. Like there was a couple of, what was it? they're describing the path to,
Yeah.
that it's lined with petitioners' bones.
Yeah.
Which was kind of terrifying and scary. They're talking about the generations that have stood in line just to go do this.
Generations stand in line.
And was this Bobby G and Saint Celestine, everyone, they're walking by this line and people are just touching him as he passes. And
where
Celestine,
once there had been industrious glory, now all was buried in grotesque layers of Gothic overconstruction, industrial sprawl, and macabre religious ornamentation.
Yeah.
That pretty much sums it up.
Yeah. Yeah. And as they're walking, was it St. Celestine is offering blessings to all? Bobby's just walking, but she's actually, being of the people, I guess.
Yes.
Yeah.
So they make it to one of the golden entrances, and only Guilliman would be allowed before the Emperor.
Yeah.
Which pisses off Cypher. But he's thinking, okay, I don't know who this Cypher guy is, but I've seen that blade that he's carrying, and there's no way I'm letting that near my father's presence. Yeah. And it says it makes him shudder with dread.
And Jason and I were just talking about this before we recorded. One of the books I read was Angels of Caliban, and spoiler. Guilliman's the one who breaks the sword. So that's like part of the reason why he's dreading this so much. There's actually a little quote when he says this. It reads, I'm looking for it. He might not have recognized Cypher, but he knew the blade in the Dark Angel's back. So he doesn't recognize him. So, maybe with those words, it means maybe he's run into this guy before. And Guilliman works a lot of Dark Angels in that book, so maybe?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, he knows what the blade looks like. He knows what the blade is. He knows what it's for, so that's why he's not going to let him in. And he's like, apprehend him. Put these people in prison.
Yeah.
And of course, Cypher escapes.
Hold on. He pulls his pistols. Like, I'm going to go out in a blaze of glory. Then it's like, wait a minute. There's all these guardian spears in my face. All right, let's put them back.
I have waited this long. I can wait longer.
Yeah.
Because I know I can escape whatever stupid prison you have, which no one has escaped in thousands of years.
And he's out within hours.
Yeah.
It's like he's got a one-pass card or something, like for a tollway. Yeah. It's just like, all right, I'll just go and pay this fine. I'm out.
Here's my thought. I actually have a theory on this. My theory is that Veilwalker has a webway portal everywhere. Like, if she has to take a poop, she doesn't walk to the bathroom. She just takes a webway portal to the bathroom and poops there. Moreover, if she needs to poop, sometimes she creates a webway portal under her butt and poops and then closes it. Because apparently she knows where all the webway portals are, and by where they are, that's everywhere.
Wow. Okay, we're not going to go any farther on this.
Interesting theory, Adam.
Yeah. Because there are a lot of convenient webway portals, apparently. There's a lot here. There's a tech priest there to meet Call, gives him some information, and Call has a whispered conversation with Guilliman about projects coming to a head. So we'll see what that is in the future, I'm sure. And Guilliman goes in until the next morning, and he comes out, and he won't say anything. The quote is, of his meeting with the Emperor, Guilliman would say only that he had received all the enlightenment that he required. This makes me think, personally, that he went in there, stood there all night, looking at a dead person and was like, wait a minute, I'm looking at a dead person.
What's this?
There is nothing to be gained from this, and walked out. I guess I have to fix this.
Yeah, pretty much. It's like his candid camera. It's like, there has to be someone laughing at me on the other side of this camera.
Yeah.
My favorite part comes up next when he doesn't say anything about his meeting. but then demands a meeting with the High Lords of Terra.
Yep.
I like to
And
think.
for those of you who have read The Beast Arises, the High Lords of Terra can all be. I mean, I did not like majority of those characters, and according to this book,
Neither did Guilliman.
Yeah.
He's like, you're fired, you're fired, you're okay, you're fired, you're okay.
Yeah.
Meet your new Lords.
Yeah. Yeah, because he removed a few of them, replaced them with his own choices. In my notes, I wrote he probably removed them through the end of the largest cannon. Because there's nothing like, well, I got a problem, let's put it in here, and we'll just shoot it off into space, into the sun. It's cool. Yeah.
Yeah. Now, I know there's a lot here, and there's a lot. It can only be kind of spoken about, I think, through actually saying what it says. So, bear with me here. It says, Cadia had been only the beginning. From the ravaged Fenris sector and the orc-infested Armageddon to the systems of Attila and Baelor, all felt the grasping claws of chaos. There's, talking about the jaws in the dark or whatever. Whole sectors of the Imperium were going dark, while others reported the onslaught of rabid greenskin hordes, aggressive Tau, deathless Necron hosts seemingly driven to conquest in the face of the expanding storm fronts. Heretic cults and rogue psychers rose up in their billions, and every Imperial world seemed set to burn in the fires of galactic war. And because of this, Guilliman, he calls for a second great crusade to beat back the darkness. New armies would be raised in breathtaking numbers. From Belisarius Call's forges on Mars, Guilliman planned to bring forth new and terrible weapons, whose fury even the worshippers of the Chaos Gods would be unable to withstand. Fresh fleets would be built, grand war engines consecrated in the Emperor's holy name. The manufactorums would labor like never before, and every single servant of the Emperor would do their part. The Imperium faced total war on a galactic scale. With warp storms spreading and intensifying, no world was safe. Yet humanity would not drown in this tide of warfare, but instead would rise up and at the crest of a bloody wave to triumph against the darkness. So,
yay!
I think
more models.
Yeah. Well, here's the thing. First of all, I think it's possible that he definitely installed Call as Fabricator General. But I thought that only the Mechanicus could do that.
Yeah.
So I think maybe because the Fabricator General is supposed to be the High Lord for the Mechanicus.
Yeah.
But it might be interesting to see if it's possible he unseated the Fabricator General as the High Lord for the Mechanicus and installed someone who wasn't the Fabricator General as a High Lord.
Yeah. There's all sorts of things.
Or the Mechanicus was like, oh, it computes to make this person the Fabricator General.
Yeah.
But I think most of all, the end of this book is a message to the players of 40K of what you can expect from 8th edition and the coming storylines.
More blood, more minis, simpler rules, hopefully.
Well, I'm thinking more along from the story perspective. I'm thinking like expect the grim darkness of the far future. You can still expect that, but there's going to be a vein in that darkness of something to fight for.
Yeah.
So there is another little section, I don't remember where it was, where they talk about the I think it's actually Call who says something about it, where history is full of all this darkness, and lately there's been even more and more darkness, but that's what makes the bright light of hope even brighter.
Yeah,
like it shines even brighter. So I'm thinking, when it comes to the Imperium and Guilliman and the efforts to fight back the darkness, I think we're going to see a lot more in the way of a hopeful kind of force, a hopeful crusade against the darkness. And I think that's a good thing. I think that'll help a lot.
I think this looks like a new great crusade that's almost like the Horus Heresy crusade, and so they can actually go through and do a lot more interesting things, and hopefully now they'll be able to move not only the story forward but also technology, because that's been kind of one of the that's what I'm looking for. The sticking points.
It's been a bit of a trope, right?
Yeah.
With 4K, like, oh yeah, we found this technology that has totally been here the whole time. We didn't just pick it up.
And now they actually have, we have this technology now because Guilliman has pushed that forward, and that I like, because one of the things I like about some of the Horus Heresy stuff is you have different weapons, you have different models and whatnot that you can bring to your games, and I think this will allow them to start doing that. I mean, I just want to be able to take my Sakaran Venator, to be perfectly honest, but whatever.
Excellent. I like this book.
I did too.
Yeah, it was a really good book.
It was a good one. As long as you look at it from the perspective, like we said in the beginning, of a kind of more of a textbook with flowery, fantastical writing. But it's certainly, when you compare it to other campaign books in the recent couple of years, it's one of the best, if not the best, I think.
Yeah, and I think the missions on this, I'm a lot happier with these missions than some of the previous stuff. I mean, not recently, but years past, were like Damocles, what was it? The Apocalypse Damocles books.
Mm-hmm.
Stuff 2 years ago. I didn't particularly like those campaign books, but the ones they've been releasing in the past 6 months, the past year, have all been really good and really pushed the envelope, and I've been happy with that, especially this book.
I think it's a question of your audience and knowing your audience, and these books definitely have a specific audience.
Yeah.
A lot of the rules are designed to please a lot of the greater fan base.
Yeah.
Where the missions very much are designed for the narrative gamer in mind.
Yeah, Mission 5, I mean, the more, we've talked about it, we just talked about it, but I mean, that's an incredible mission. I mean, it's huge. You have to have a lot of people playing that, or at least someone who has a lot of models.
Right. Yeah, I think, one person and their friend could play it.
Yeah.
But I would set it up in your dining room over the weekend. I wouldn't try doing it at a store.
Ooh.
I would do it in your basement and set it up over one or even 2 weekends.
Yeah.
And do it. But it is a lot of fun. There's lots of little things in all of these missions that have been great.
Yeah.
I think that the way they do 0G is perfect. We've done that before. This book had the unique setup of the boards, how they represented chasms, so then you could jump between them.
Yeah.
In the Fenris book, we had the multiple deployment, or the multiple battlefields simultaneously.
Oh yeah.
Which that carried into Wrath of Magnus, and it carried into one of the missions, I think, in the Fall Acadia book, I recall.
I think so. They even have the Empiric Storm Table, which is still my favorite.
It's very good, and I think that things like that, the missions, the Empiric Storm Table, things like that, the environments, I need to get those cards before they become obsolete. I think I bet they'll be available online too. I'll see if our store has the Empiric Storm Table cards. When I have to stop by there this week, if they like on Tuesday or Wednesday or something, I need to pick up some terrain.
Well, surprise! I actually picked them up this past weekend.
Nice.
I did not talk about all of my hobby purchases because there's just a point where
I think I'm gonna pick. I think they have a copy, and I think I'm gonna just pick it up just because it's really cool and a lot easier than rolling on the table.
Yeah.
But it's these missions and these extra rules from these campaign books that are gonna live forever. These books are still going to be useful and fun parts of your hobby collection.
Yep.
Absolutely. I have a lot of
great resources.
I have a lot of old books that I've picked up secondhand and whatnot. And there's just always some great missions, fluff, and just amazing artwork in each of them. I mean, they hold up even if the rules don't.
Yeah. What was it? 4th edition campaign book or 4th edition rule book has the combat patrol mission. That's what people like. Yep.
Well, I'm sorry, guys. I think we're good. I'm gonna sign it off here. We're gonna take a break, and we'll come back and close out the show.
All right.
Hey, Masters of the Forge listeners, are you looking to expand your Warhammer 40,000 gaming group?
Do you want to start a 40k club in your area?
Do you want the people you attract to be like-minded mofos?
Do you want to advertise your YouTube channel?
Or even attract more subscribers to your hobby blog or online community?
Then what better way than to advertise on the Masters of the Forge podcast?
All we ask of you is that you email us at mastersoftheforge@gmail.com or message us on Facebook with a full text of your advertisement, including the region in which you live and any contact information people can use to get a hold of you.
We will have one of our many tech servitors read your advertisement on the air. We promise not to make fun of you.
Though we can't always predict the actions of our servitors, you really can't find good help these days.
No, you can't.
This is Rob Sanders, and you're listening to the Masters of the Forge, where the world of 40k comes to life on your tabletop.
All right, welcome back. Thanks for hanging in there. So keep in mind that we're going to at least have a few more episodes before I go into the knife. I definitely want to finish out the new Fat Mat campaign, the new Table War campaign. At the very least, we'll be talking about 8th edition and talking about the narrative campaign, even if we don't have a lot of hobby topics. Yeah. I think we have one in here that would be a lot of fun. I don't mind kind of announcing it here, but we had the topic idea of doing the Iron Whatevers episode. Might be a good one.
I love that title.
Yeah.
Well, it's Iron Warriors and Iron Hands. What's the frickin' difference? Right. It's kind of the topic of the episode. So I thought that would be a really cool episode to just kind of break down the kind of differences between the two.
Iron within, iron with, whatever.
Iron with whatever.
There's a lot of irony there.
No.
I swear to God, I'm going to write to Skype and be like, you need to come up with a way to kick someone from a conversation. Anyways, thanks a lot for listening. Thanks for joining us in this conversation, John. We really appreciate it.
Not a problem.
And I hope the sound has been a little better in this episode because I forgot to show John how to do Audacity until this episode, but whatever, it's all good.
You basically called me up and like, all right, this is what you need to do. No, don't hit that button. Hit this other button. Nope.
No.
Just nope. You don't have.
Well, I think the best part of that conversation was I was like, "Hey, are you home?" He's like, "Yeah." I'm like, "Can I call you?" So I was like, "Oh, Adam wants to call me and talk to me about personal matters. This will be a nice conversation with a friend." And I'm like, "Hey, John, go to your computer. I'm at my computer. Okay, type in the words Audacity in Google." I didn't even leave it to him to be like, I'm like, no, I'm not going to say, "Hey, John, please download and install Audacity." I'm like, no, I'm going to call you on the phone and sit here.
The audacity of it.
Oh, boy.
Yeah. Pun.
Okay.
That happened.
All right, so listeners, if you want to leave us nice feedback on iTunes,
yeah,
we have a Facebook page. If you do Instagram, look for # Masters of the Forge.
Yeah.
What else do we have? We have Twitter. Yeah, we have Twitter as well. Anything else that I'm forgetting? Because I know I am.
Yeah, the website.
Oh yeah,
has a bunch of now outdated rules that you can use. No, there's a bunch of missions and stuff up there, so that's cool. Or if you're sticking with 7th edition for whatever reason, you have that too. But until then,
play the game the way you want
dying
to.
of fire.
I was going to say the conversation next week will be riveting, but I decided against it because,
Wow.
Yeah.
Wow. You went there.
Yeah.
Okay.
You know what? The fire comment, you can forge that metal in there. That's fine.
Uh-huh. Okay. So, bye, everyone.
This podcast is protected by the Creative Commons Attribution, No Derivatives, Non-Commercial, International License. More information about this license and contact information if you have any requests can be found at our blog, mastersoftheforge.com. The music used in this podcast was made by Parad of the duo Sublevel 3. The track is used with his permission.
It's such a good feeling to play games your way. It's such a happy feeling 40K'ing away. And when you throw dice with story in mind, it's such a wonderful way to unwind. It's a good feeling, a very good feeling, the feeling you know that we'll be back when the fortnight's new, and we'll have new ideas for you, and you'll have things you'll want to talk about. We will too.